What is up, guys? This is it. The last BT7 deck list I'm ever gonna post. This format has been challenging, definitely for Lord Knight, but I think I cracked it, or at least I did a very decent job at finding a Lord Knight build that plays well into this meta, against Blue Hybrid especially. Whenever I'm playing Blue Hybrid with this deck, it actually feels like a fight, and I feel like I'm actually playing the game. This is what I have for you. So to start off simple, the eggs are just going to be 4 Pikmon and 1 Upa. I found that there's a really cool interaction with the hybrids and Pikmon that pretty much can guarantee that you're always going to have 3 Digimon on board by digivolving into a hybrid, then swinging with Lord Knight, dropping the 3rd body. I can consistently neg 5k with the combined drop of Knightmon and Pikmon. We'll just run through the list very simply. This is a different way of me doing a deck list, but I mean, you guys asked for deck lists, and there it is. So for those who want it, go ahead. And now we'll go and through each card individually. Right now, I find that Bushi is still as clutch as ever. You're gonna really want to finish off your games with him at times, with Lord Knight, or with hybrid, or with a lot of different combinations that you can Mastamon, burn a life, bring a Bushi back, swing with Masta, swing with Bushi. That's 3 swings. It's pretty cool. It can catch your opponent off guard a little bit at times. But yeah, Bushi's still really good. In hand, in trash, or using it as Evo fodder for getting it in trash early is actually fine. The rookie I wanted to see the most was Pulsemon, usually because it was the best Evo target I have in the raising, where it actually, the on play is not wasted, quote unquote. But I would rather Evo a Pulsemon than a Starmons or Bushi, so I'd rather just have less of these Bushi and Starmons in deck. So I see the Pulsemon more consistently, so that can be my first Evo target, was the main reasoning. And as you can see, there's only 10 rookies. It seems low, but because I have a lot of Tamers, I'll be playing them rather than the rookie drop. Just getting the Tamer to get a search for a card you may need to set up future turns. For the level 4 line, we have 3 Pedo. 1 cost Evo, very good early game. Going first can sometimes be great because you go rookie, Pedo, and choke them to 1. The count for Gladdy has to go up for this build because, again, I only have 10 rookies. I needed more bodies to be able to drop with Lord Knight, especially because Gladdy in this deck can search for you Dynasmon, Lord Knight, Gladdy itself, and Knightmon. So you actually have a pretty decent pool of targets, and the really great thing about Gladdy particularly is because he's a level 4. Next we have 2 Kazes and 4 Zephyrs. So there's 6 hybrids in this deck at the level 4 level, mainly because 1, they're threats to your opponent for game, and it lines up with your 6 Tamers. You can consistently do hybrid for game because there's just a good abundance, and you don't necessarily need all those hybrids to finish the game, so you can use them for evoing. Or what I personally like to do is, because Gladdy's a level 4, you can potentially digivolve Zephyr on top of Gladdy and for a 1 cost play, which then can lead up to another Evo with Jet Sophie for recovery. There's even valid plays to Evo in the raising for 3 to push turn when you just have an awkward hand and you don't want to push too much memory to your opponent. So I think Zephyr allowing me to have additional 1 cost plays and 3 cost plays makes it a very, very good level 4 for the deck. And 2 cost play technically, because you can go on top of the Tamer. Next, 1 Angel Woman, same concept as BT6 days and with Classic. You don't want to be at too low of life. That's pretty much the gist of what I learned. Putting yourself at 3 life is susceptible to 1 Susano swing and a random rookie or random hybrid, which yellow hybrid players can definitely get Susano out and swing just because of their ability to gain massive amounts of memory. And yeah, and my security isn't that strong. I don't have any security bombs or removal or anything like that, because I figured if a Susano's coming at me with 3 swings, I'm just gonna lose. 4 Knightmon as standard, just because the card's great. It turbos out level 6s, which play a lot around purple option, and Cherubi pretty much can't really handle this deck if I get a level 6 on the board and they don't have an answer. Again, one of the most broken cards, Jet Sophie, And to utilize it with Lord Knight, it just feels so dirty, but fuck it, dude. Like, we've been playing against Blue Hybrid, and this feels really good, to be honest. Jet Sophie is a level 5 where I can go up for 3 memory if I have the Tamer and the Hybrid line, which is really significant because the efficiency of going into a level 5 or 3 memory and then pushing turn potentially with just Digivolving into Lord Knight, or if you have memory set up where you can keep turn, it's just really ridiculous. Like, you'll actually see there's a lot of times when I'll push up a level 4 like a Pitto, Digivolve into a Zephyr with it, so that's 1 cost, and then go into Jet Sophie, either pushing my opponent to 3 because they have a memory tamer, or I could choke them at 1 if I have the memory tamer set up. Next is 1 Masty. Then we got Serafi for early game pressure where necessarily you don't want Dynus, or you just rather take the recovery and then force your opponent to respond because, 2 checks at 10k is actually living quite often this format, as you guys know. Serafi's a real big boss. Like, playing it more in different decks made me realize, like, oh, maybe I should just try it in Lord Knight. And I'm telling you guys, sometimes dropping that Knightmon, Digivolving into Serafi, pushing your opponent turn, they're looking down at a Lord Knight and a Serafi that's going to come in potentially 3 checks next turn with a Tamir on board, a Bushy in hand, that's 5 checks. Like, it's just, some nonsense can really happen with this deck. So I think it's really fun. For Lord Knight, pretty much allows you to warp out these level 6s. It allows you to drop all these useful rookies that can then become blockers, or can drop down the Gladdy to then honestly go into level 5 and potentially, you can execute or something and actually use Angel Woman's effect and to use that card to its fullest ability. Digimon, very, very good defensive card against blue. If you get it out early, since you don't see the Lord Knight, you can unbrick yourself and find the second stack, and this card will actually stall and potentially, have blue hybrids lose all their hybrids by swinging in, or even lose their floodgates by swinging in and just trying to get some good quality chip damage, because you can't really chip with Digimon on the board unless you're committing at least 2 attacks, and then you can lose those Digimon on the clapback with Dynas swinging over them if she's not stunned or he's not stunned. But yeah, really good card. Susanamon, very good level 7. You can actually go and use the 10, you can get the 10 hybrids and tamers and do the warp from a tamer. The fact that I can get Susana on the board, it pressures my opponent to deal with it as well. And if they honestly don't have it, that's just an easy win next turn, because usually you're going to be you're going to be doing 3 checks, plus you have a lot of win conditions with hybrids, plus you can Bushy for game. Blinding Bushy for game is still a strong move. For the options, very simple. They're either gaining me memory or getting a body off of the board to play around Sword Joe. So Blinding Ray allows you to Blinding Ray for hybrid, Blinding Ray for Bushy, Blinding Ray get a free Dynasty recover. There's just a lot. There's a lot of things you can do with this card. I think I still love the card. So yeah, 2 Blinding Rays good. Then we have 2 Tactical Retreats just to deal with the blue hybrid. And honestly, sometimes just those aggro decks that need to recover. Tactical Retreat on a Susana doesn't feel bad at all, especially if it's just giving them memory and stunning. Now you put a 15k body, they have to eventually lose a Digimon to it. Also, Tactical Retreat, one of your hybrids, and then playing a Zoe is a move. Reinforced Memory Boost, very broken card, mainly because of its delay effect. Just the delay effect is why I think it as it is. There would be times where you're playing in this meta, you're going to be basically passing turns by just playing Tamers. So why not just pass turn with a very good 6-cost option that will set you up significantly better than your opponent the following turn. Mainly because with reinforcement on deck and 1 TK or 1 Zoe on board, you can go to a LordKnightmon. Level 4 hybrid, Jet Selfie costs 3 memory, LordKnightmon costs 3 memory, so 6 memory. Boom, easy. So even if I see this card in security, I just hope to goodness that it's one of the ones near the top and they hit it. Because then you can go into a Lord Knight from scratch and it's just pretty good. And I mean, I can see why it's only limited to 1. It's that delay is just so powerful. Yellow Memory Boost, same concept. Having memory that they know I'm gonna have is threatening, so sometimes I'll have to deal with it, and then I can bait out memory blockers, which Starmons can handle or Knightmon can handle pretty safely. 4 TKs, just because memory Tamers are the most important in this format, specifically because if you break against blue and you let them Tamer lock you, in my opinion, it's like the Davis into Sorjo, into 4 cost plays, you're just going to be choked the whole game, and that is not allowed in this game. If you're choked in this format, especially, you're going to lose. Zoe, just because Zoe is a very decent searcher for the hybrids. It actually hits more often than you think, but the main thing is it's also a tamer, an uninteractable rookie, essentially, on the board. I played this deck at locals, where I went technically undefeated. I went 3-0-1, drawing to mainly a yellow hybrid, and we just went to time. Went 2-2 my first Mario circuit with a similar deck build, losing to blue hybrid twice. Unfortunately, it's still a very difficult matchup, but like, I just wanted, at least when I played those games, I want to say that I had a chance. It wasn't a steamroll where they stunned me to death. It was more like, oh man, if he has this, like, this amount of hybrids, he wins. And sometimes they have it, sometimes they have the 3 hybrid in hand, whatever it may be. I still stand by this deck. I think it's very good, and it's fun to play. Also, to note, that same local, one of my locals played this deck and took first, and I took second with the tie. And yeah, so I would say if you're bored of playing hybrids or yellow hybrids, like the more traditional yellow hybrid build, try this. I guarantee you it's at least a lot of fun. All right, guys, that's it for the video, and thank you for joining me. Thanks for watching. Have a good Sunday. Peace.